But that's where it's going to get wild, because now we are going to move into the power rankings, but we're going to mix it up a bit. There are 12 teams. There's 3 of us. We're each going to pick one team, and then we're going to keep going down the line. So each of us are going to get 4 picks. And then along with our pick, we're going to assign a team to a number, and we're going to give them a superlative, which I know it's a big word for TJ. A superlative is like if you have a yearbook thing, you're going to assign like the best of class, most likely to succeed, most likely to not change, most likely to do something, most likely not to do something. Something along those lines. We're going to assign a team a superlative, and we're going to assign them a rank, and we're going to go down the list in alphabetical order of the teams, and then starting in the Discord call order, because that's also alphabetical order. The first team is going to be the Atlanta FaZe, and it's going to be TJ's pick. You have to assign Atlanta to a number, and you have to assign them a superlative, so most likely to X. And then once we have all the teams picked, we can go back and reorder them into a list we all agree with. So Atlanta FaZe, and then most likely 2.
I'm gonna put FaZe at 1.
Okay. Well, let me write this down.
Yeah, I think as of right now, as it stands, I think FaZe is a solid 1. And they're probably the most likely to win Game 5.
Most likely to say you can do it too?
Yeah, FaZe up.
Alright, so Atlanta most likely to win Game 5. That means me. I should have wrote these down in alphabetical order. The next team is Dallas, right? Next team is... No, it's Chicago Optic. That's tough. Oh. I mean,
can I do it? No, I'm kidding.
Wow. Just based on you putting a FaZe number 1, I have to put Optic at number 2. So Chicago Optic number 2. Chicago Optic number 2, most likely to make a YouTube video. Which brings us to Zoe and the Dallas Empire.
Well, you guys took 2 and 1. I'm gonna put them in number 3.
Yeah, like I said, we can fix these later, but just for the sake of it. I wasn't expecting the first 3 teams to also be the best 3 teams.
I'm gonna say Dallas, and then most likely to win maps 2, 3, and 5.
So
both S&Ds and control.
Yep, S&Ds and controls.
So teamwork team.
Mm-hmm.
Can I throw this out there though? Didn't they just lose all 3 of those maps? I mean,
I know, but listen.
Even the blind squirrel finds a nut, dude.
It's the first weekend. Okay, you can't take anything from the first weekend. I mean, you could take just to see how the players are playing, but I still wouldn't change what that team is based on.
No, I wouldn't either. I was more or less just kidding.
I mean, let's be honest. Online COD would be different than on LAN.
Right. I feel like a lot of these teams that are lower would be higher if it was LAN, but that's my personal opinion.
So, putting my critical thinking skills to use back to TJ, your next team is the Florida Mutineers.
Wow. That's a toughie.
It is.
I feel like they're a sleeper team. Like, they can beat the top 3, but I still don't want to put them like number 4, 5, or 6.
I mean, you have to take into account these are all pro teams. Any team can technically beat any team at any given time. And we saw that in the opening kickoff. They beat Atlanta, but they also got decimated in the home series that just happened.
Who did they play?
That is a great question.
Did they play Toronto? Yeah, they did play Toronto.
Did they? I thought they played Seattle.
No. I don't think so.
Either way, they lost. So
yeah,
I'm pretty sure they played Ultra, but I want to put them at 7.
7. All right.
Yeah. Fuck it. I already said it.
7. And what are they most likely to do?
Most likely to beat a top tier team. I feel like they can be the upper echelons kryptonite.
All right, fair enough. Hold on, I have to do thinking.
A little fact check. Florida lost to Toronto 3-1.
Okay.
And I think that's the only series they played that weekend.
See, but like I don't know. I just feel as soon as they get on a roll, because I mean Neptune's still new to the league. It's like as soon as he gets comfortable, he'll be able to go off. And then you got Awakening. Scott is. I think they're decent.
Yeah, but Awakening's a competitor.
The two the two couple podcasts ago when we were talking about the change for the Florida team, did we talk bad about Neptune?
I know. I said it was a good move in general because Slack and Havoc are the identical player. They're the exact same player.
I'm going to say this now since we're talking about Florida.
Okay.
I think Havoc should be in place for Slack. That's just my personal opinion.
I would agree with that.
I think Havoc should be in place for Slack.
Even though
you see, we kind of talked about this, I think, last week. I think Havoc got the boot, so to speak, because Havoc's kind of a shithead to deal with sometimes. And Slack is more so just kind of he'll do whatever you tell him to do.
Yeah.
So they told him to go that negative?
I mean,
that's crazy.
Slack has never been known for having the gunny. He's more so like your nose to the dirt being the objective player, but at the same time...
No, not true. Because when they played in IW, that was Classic's job.
Classic is also that player, though.
Yeah. So.
Which comes down to a role thing. They probably made that conscious decision to not have them both do that. Also, that team also had Saints and Octane, who were 2 top 10 players in that game. So there was a lot of slang to not make Slack have to do that.
I think IW was the best year to watch competitive COD. That and Black Ops 3.
I think the amount of storylines surrounding World War II, if people didn't get turned off by it immediately, would have been better, but it's to me, and based off of my basic alphabet knowledge, I think the next team is the Los Angeles Guerrillas. So, if you put Florida at 7, LA Guerrillas on paper are better than the Mutineers, but based on your 7 pick, I have to put LAG at 6. And the LA Guerrillas are most likely to all dye their hair the same color.
Okay.
Which, the man of the hour wearing the 100 Thieves jersey, Zoe, you have the LA Thieves.
I'm gonna put the LA Thieves at spot 4.
I assume so. We already covered that, yeah.
And they are most likely
to have shoes that match their hoodies.
No.
Are you sure? Because they all had Bread 11s in their team picture.
Well, they've already done that, so there's not a most likely to say there. But I'd say they're most likely to be inconsistent. I think they're going to be a very inconsistent team. And what I mean by that is not, they win series and they lose series and they win series and they lose series. I feel like they're going to be a team where 1 week they're going to be absolutely untouchable in respawn, and then the next week they'll be really good at S&D, but the respawn will be kind of lackluster.
TJ and I think we said that exact thing because we didn't have a lot of confidence in TJ Howley, and then we also kind of just said that Temp was a shitty teammate. So if you have a bad week of practice because Temp's just in a fucking mood and TJ's showing up late to practice, Slasher's going to be unhappy during the match.
And then Kenny's just there.
Kenny is just there.
Kenny's like, I just work here, man. What do you want?
So, sitting right now, 1 Atlanta, 2 Optic, 3 Dallas, 4 LA Thieves, 6 LAG, 7 Florida. Going back to TJ, you have the London Royal Ravens.
Yeah, but 12.
Are you?
Wow.
You are aware Paris exists still.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
All right, London at 12. And then what are they most likely to?
Fuck, I don't know.
I can't believe the slander upon Parasite's name.
Most likely to show ass on stream.
Yeah, I'm most likely to show crack. And not the good kind either.
Alright, so...
Okay.
Alright, if that's the answer you're going with, Paris... No, excuse me, London 12 and... What's the superlative?
Oh, I don't really know the players that well, other than Parasite.
Most likely to not be understood.
Yeah, that could work. Most likely to not be understood.
I mean, it's your superlative, bro.
Let's go with that one. Can't be understood.
Alright, so London 12, that brings me back to the Minnesota Rocker. Just based on the available spots, they have to be the 8th seed for me. Like I said, we can go back and change these later, but right now I'm putting Minnesota at 8. And Minnesota is the most likely team to copy Optic's style of content. Because Midnight is their director of content.
I raised my eyebrow for a second, and I thought to myself, is he...
No, because Midnight, being under Optic for almost a decade, understands what it takes to grow in this scene. You have to make fans by making content. You have to give fans a reason to care about what you're doing outside of the game. They kind of did that last year with the IRL content whenever they took chance fishing. But, you know, that can't happen now, so... I also don't really follow them on social media, so I'm not sure if they're doing stuff. But
I like Gary V. That's the only reason why I like Minnesota.
They're doing a lot of like Q&A type stuff and like just player interview type.
Like, I assume so. They're the most likely to copy Optic's style of content to a certain degree, which gives them fans, etc., etc. So that is number 8. Number 9. No, excuse me. The next one is you have New York. So
what are the spots available?
5, 9, 10, and 11.
5, 9, 10, and 11.
5.
I'm gonna put New York at.
Mind you, the Subliners are the only team that have not won a series or a map.
I'm gonna put New York at 9. I don't think they're the worst, and here's why I put them at 9. The match versus LA Thieves. Now I know it was kind of wonky for them to win that, and then win the map and then replay the map, but they played LA Thieves really close.
That entire series was really close.
Yeah, they played them very close, and I was very surprised to see that. I thought New York was going to get the floor mopped with them, right? I thought LA Thieves was going to mop the floor with them, and they didn't. They kept the series very close. So for that, I have to put them at number 9. I haven't seen anything from them yet. Let's say the first map doesn't reset and they win and there were no issues, then it would be a completely different series. But the fact that, it's like, oh yeah, we won. And then no, you guys got to replay the entire map. It's demoralizing for that team. I've been in those shoes. I know what it is to lose complete composure, especially for a first series.
And I mean, on top of that, you got to think they're still a relatively new team.
Yeah.
And they went that close with LAT.
I think
they also haven't reached their full potential, but unfortunately, I can't rank them based on the team they'd be with Hydra. I have to rank them based on the team they are right now.
I can't, take the Clayster slander anymore. I think Clayster,
the only thing bad I can say about Clayster is he's sometimes leaning towards the whinier side, but like we all fucking are. Like, I sit here and try to present myself as professionally as I can in the moment as I can, but like I whine. It's unavoidable. Especially whenever there's shit I can't control happening. That's my biggest pet peeve, is whenever I can't control what's happening, that really fucking bugs me.
Mm-hmm.
So, New York 9, most likely 2.
most likely to surprise the scene.
All right. So back to TJ, based on, again, my basic alphabet knowledge, your team is the Paris Legion. Available spots 5, 10, 11.
Can I do the Paris one real quick?
We'll fix it later. Let's let TJ have his
Spot
moment.
13, TJ.
Bro,
Yeah.
I don't know what it is about Paris, but I feel like they have potential.
You're not gonna put him in number 5.
No.
Okay.
No. I feel like they have potential. They still got a ways to go. So I mean, I'll put them at 11 just because it's realistic. But I feel like they could be up in probably 9-ish, maybe a little higher. It's iffy, but I'll stick with 11 for now.
Okay.
I mean, that would make sense because the only team they have beat is your 12 pick. All right, so Paris most likely to.
Most likely to not tweet for an entire year.
Solid.
That's a good one.
So, moving on to the next team. It's Seattle, and my available spots are 5 and 10. They have to go in the 10 spot.
Even so, they won a series.
Well, here's why they have to go 10. The other team is Toronto. So Seattle is my number 10 for the time being.
Wait, did Seattle beat London? Did Seattle beat London, right? Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
I don't count that as a win.
So Seattle's my number 10 pick, and they are the most likely to make a player retire. Which, Zoe, I hate to steal your thunder. Your last option is Toronto, and the only spot available is 5. So give me a nasty superlative.
I was going to put them between 7 and 5 anyway. Whatever spots were available. I was gonna put Toronto up there anyway because I think Toronto's a very good team, and I'm gonna put them at number 5 because that's the only spot I have left. And I'd say they're most likely to be the best S&D team.
All right, fair enough.
I think there's a lot of sleepers on Toronto. Cammy has been phenomenal ever since he came up last year. Kleenex is
a freak, dude. Like if you had to,
I think Kleenex is up there with players like Simp and Abizi. I think Kleenex is that good.
Okay, so I'm relatively confident that TJ's never played a 2K basketball game, though probably has. Are you familiar with the wild card microwave for 2K games?
The what?
I've
played 2K, but I've never heard of that.
There is a trait in 2K NBA basketball games called microwave. It's basically a player heats up quickly.
Oh yeah, no. That's Kleenex right there.
That is my point.
I can bring up the one clip from BO4 Champs when it was I think he was on Singularity against Envy.
He fried Envy.
Kleenex was putting them in the blender. He was going even, and then he just went on a complete tear.
He was actually -10, and then he finished positive 22.
Yeah, he took Envy, or what was left of Envy, and completely blendered them. And then wiped his nose with a tissue and said that shit was easy.
The issue is an issue, as Miles said. All right, so before we rearrange the numbers and the teams, right now, number 1, Atlanta, 2, Chicago, 3, Dallas, 4, LA Thieves, 5, Toronto, 6, Gorillas, 7, Florida, 8, Minnesota, 9, New York, 10, Seattle, 11, Paris, 12, London. Now, there are 3 of us, so we're going to go by majority rules here on whether we move teams up or down.
Mm-hmm.
We're just going to start...
Can you start from the bottom and work our way
We'll just
up?
do alphabetical order again because Atlanta, Optic, and Dallas aren't moving. There's not a lot. There's like not enough we can really say to move those teams. I feel like they're so evenly matched, minus one S&D map. So the top three are going to be locked in no particular order: Atlanta, Optic, and Dallas. Which brings us to...
I would leave it that way. If it was in a particular order, I would leave it just like that. I would leave Atlanta, Optic, and Dallas in that order. And here's why. Dallas lost to Minnesota. Optic lost to FaZe. There's a huge difference between the teams that they played. And even so, Optic could still be the best team there at the weekend, but as of right now, the FaZe has their number with that series.
I mean, they just gotta work on S&D and then they'll be solid.
No, they need to work on closing out maps, and Dashi needs to finish. That's why I shoot bodies, because I'm making sure the person's dead, so that way Abisi doesn't have 3 health and absolutely obliterates my entire team.
So if we move on from that, our next team is Florida at 7. Personally, I would move Florida down. I would probably at least swap them with Minnesota, who is the 8 seed below them.
I would do the same. I think Minnesota is a better team than Florida right now.
I agree.
All right, so we moved Florida down. We moved Minnesota up.
So who's below Florida now?
Below Florida is New York at 9, Seattle at 10, Paris at 11, and London at 12.
Who's spot 6 again?
Yeah, Los Angeles Gorillas are the 6th seed.
Oh, okay.
Okay, they're fine where they are. I was making sure where everybody, or like who all was below.
The only other thing I really disagree with on this list is I'm just flabbergasted you said London was worse than Paris.
Couldn't tell you.
I mean, personally, I would swap Paris and London. I would put Paris still at 12.
See, with London not having Parasite and then not having Zero, not having person that they've been practicing with all off season, I just don't see them making any noise. But I can see Paris coming together as a squad. I mean, if Fire shows up, I feel like they could take a series.
I would swap London with Paris.
Alright, so Paris is back to the basement based on majority rule.
Okay.
Paris 12, London 11.
Who did Paris lose to?
They lost to Optic and...
I think they only played 1 series, correct?
No, they played 2.
They played 2.
The standings and maintenance are only from the home series.
Okay. Yeah, they lost to Optic 3-0. Obliterated, and then they lost to I just saw it. They lost to LAG, so 3-2.
And I'm pretty sure that's in game 5, round 11.
Yeah, they went to game 5 with LAG, which is the next part. Do we want to swap Minnesota and LAG?
Yes, I would swap Minnesota and LAG.
So we're fine with keeping Toronto at the 5 seed?
Yeah, I'd keep Toronto at the 5 seed, and I'd swap LAG and Minnesota. Right. I think Minnesota right now is on that upper side.
All right, so I think these are all the swaps we can really make, unless you want to entertain the thought of swapping New York and Seattle. I think Seattle, personally, is just a broken team. I feel like New York could get better, and they will get better eventually.
Where's Seattle right now?
Seattle's 10, New York is 9.
Yeah, I'd keep it that way. I think New York is going to progress. But then, Gunless has been doing amazingly. So we're going to leave it how it is right now. We'll see what happens this weekend with Gunless, because there's a huge difference between 60 Hertz and 240 now.
All right, so if we're fine with all these picks, the final power ranking for this is number 1 Atlanta, 2 Optic, 3 Dallas, 4 LA Thieves, 5 Toronto. Those 5 did not change. 6 is Minnesota, 7 is LAG, 8 is Florida, 9 New York, 10 Seattle, 11 is London, and now 12 is Paris. Are we Gucci with that list? Because I will keep...
I'm good with that list.
Yeah, I'm good.
Let me title this list, and then I'll come back to this at a later date. So, alright, if we're Gucci with that list, the next topic is...